Hello, what's up? And we're back for a standard deck tech. And while Eldraine is now legal to play in the format, and we've seen some of the new cool techs from the recent events, both in face-to-face tabletop and in online tournaments. But for today's deck build, I'm going to discuss a sort of a 3-card combo, sort of aggro deck that goes with these three core cards. So first is discard Blossoming Tortoise, and then discard Draconic Destiny, and last but not the least is this important manland for the format, Mishra's Foundry. So how do we go with building this kind of deck? So you can see here, this is like purely a red-green aggro that goes with the mid-range, but can still combo off in the mid-game or in any chances that they can sort of go off with the Blossoming Tortoise ability. So just a quick setup of how this 3-card combo works is that with this ability of Tortoise, so it enters the battlefield or attacks, you will mill 3 and then return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. And then activated abilities of lands you control cost 1 less to activate, and land creatures you control gets +1/+1. So with this setup, you just need to have this manland. So Mishra's Foundry is just a 2, any mana to activate becomes a 2/2 assembly worker. And with that setup, you will then enchant the land with Draconic Destiny. So the enchanted creature gets +1, has fly in haste, and gains this ability that pay 1 of colorless or any color. This creature gets +1/+0 at the end of turn. It becomes a dragon in addition to its other types, and the bonus is that when enchanted creature dies, return Draconic Destiny to its owner's hand. So what this works is that once you get to enchant Mishra's Foundry with the Draconic Destiny and with the Blossoming Tortoise in the battlefield, you will get a free pump because of the activated abilities of lands you control cost 1 less to activate. So that's basically gaining this ability of +1/+0 would be basically 0 to cast and 0 to activate. So you can get to infinite activating this, attack for the win, or you can have other options here which we are going to discuss in a bit. So quick rundown the lands and other stuff that you can see here. We have 22 creatures, 8 enchantments, 3 instants, that's the only instant in the deck, 24 lands, and 3 sorceries. So what do we get with the setup? So what the initial deck would look like is just going to be a typical curving of an aggro deck. So first off, we have these cards such as Bloodthirsty Adversary. This is more of just a 2-drop or a support card later on because you can exile instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard, and also we have that haste. Then we also have 4 copies of Bramble Familiar, though this card will not only go to you to ramp early on because of the ability is 2 to cast 2/2 and then you add green mana, but later on you can have this ability to pay 1 green and tap, discard a card, return Bramble Familiar to its owner's hand, and cast it for its adventure, which is Fetch Quest, a 7 to cast sorcery adventure. You will mill 7 cards and then put a creature, enchantment, or land card from among the milled cards into the battlefield. So this goes well with just a 2-drop, but in the late game would become a very good utility card in the form of this adventure sorcery. And other components, we have 2 copies of Charming Scoundrel. So this is also a sort of a ramp effect because it's ability that can create a treasure token, which gets you to 4 mana at your 3rd turn. And you can also have to discard a card and draw a card, or you can create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature you control, or if she is the only creature in the battlefield under your control, you can just attach the roll token to her, which makes her a 2/2 haste creature with the Wicked Roll token setup. Now with that said, we also have 2 copies of Feldon Excavator. This also goes with a curve to just having a 2/2 haste creature, which can also fetch you cards whenever it's the damage that is equal to the damage. You get to exile that many cards, and then you can choose one of them and then play until the end of your next turn. And then we have 2 copies of the new card from Eldraine, which is Godric Cloak Revealer. It has just also 3 to cast 3/3 haste, but the option to celebrate with celebration ability it becomes a dragon that becomes a 4/4 flying and has this good mana sink effect to pump the dragons you control gets +1/+0 on the end of turn. So that is 2 copies of that card. And then we also have 2 copies of Decklist Stormseeker. It's just going well with the purpose to just curve out and have a haste effect to your creature. It becomes a 3/3 haste on its own. And later on, you can have this one, a Storm Charge Slasher that gets target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains trample and haste. And the other combo piece which I have, it's in a way that you would not need to attack with your manland, is you can also cast Voldaren Thrillseeker. So Thrillseeker would also comes to play as a backup. The backup ability is that you can put these 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following ability until the end of the turn. So you can see here the following ability that can pay 1, sacrifice this creature. It deals damage equal to its power to any target. So at any time that you would not be able to pull through a combat attack, you can just cast Thrillseeker. You can back up your manland with the Draconic Destiny attached to it, and then pump for infinity, and then pay 1 to sacrifice it to deal that much pump effects to any target, which is Autodome or your target opponent. So that's other option here, aside of course from the usual attacking with the setup of Blossoming Tortoise, Draconic Destiny, and activated manland. Now for the other effects or card components, aside from Draconic Destiny, of course, we made sure that we have 4 copies in the deck so that we can still go with the traditional attacking in the air option, because it's gets the enchant creature +1/+1 and has flying and haste, and it becomes a dragon in other addition to its other types, which also makes Godric's ability doable with bonus pump damage. And also we have 4 copies of Commando Phase Karasan. We just go with a curve early on, since we have a lot of 2-drops in the deck. You can still have a 1-drop in the form of this Enchantment Saga, which later on becomes an Itching of Commando, which is also a 2/2 haste with some good static ability that can be very relevant. But before we go with the instant, we just discussed this one, the Nihilist Warcrafting, which is just 3 to cast 5 damage to any target creature, planeswalker, or battle, and then look the top X cards of library for the excess damage equal to that X. And then you can also have a free spell out of that one, so that in any option, but your good target here will probably be Sholdred or any other 5 toughness creature against your opponent. And last but not least, for the non-lands is 3 copies of Royal Treatment. This is now the new sort of a Tamiyo's blessing, in a way that you can have your target creature hexproof until end of turn. So in that way, if ever you would go with your combo, you can have Royal Treatment mana up to protect it from any spot removal. And also you can have this one create a Royal Roll token attached to the creature, which means that it has these enchanted effects that +1/+1 and has ward 1 thereafter. So that is for your non-land cards in the deck. And with the 24 lands in the setup, you can make sure that the Blossoming Tortoise ability would not really be that irrelevant by just milling cards and returning a land from your graveyard to the battlefield top. In any case that your Mishra's Foundry would die early on, you can still have the Tortoise return it back to the battlefield and have this one as another combo. The same with, of course, with the Draconic Destiny, which enchanted creature dies, return it to your owner's hand. So for the land setup, it's pretty much, again, very traditional with a standard deck build. Short lands with the Copperland Gorge, basic lands, forest, of course, Campus and Forest is also included in the 4 obs. We have again Mishra's Foundry and 3 mountains and 3 copies of Rockfallville for the check lands. And of course, utility lands with Stoken Sun and Busiju and Jors. So that's pretty much it for this build. Mana curve is surprisingly low. As you can notice, there are a lot of 2-drops in this deck. It's curving out with 10, and the 3 mana value is 15, with only the Tortoise as your top curve for this build. And color distribution, we have mostly red with 34 and 23 for green, but red and green producers are 15 and 20 for this setup. And last but not least are your tokens. So we have the Royal Token and Spirit for the Second Sun, and Wicked and other Royal Token that you might use for the Royal Treatment effect, and that of the Charming Scoundrel. And that's pretty much it for this deck. I'm not sure if you would still see gameplay in most of the ranked games in MTG Arena or in MTG Online, but I'm pretty sure you would want to seek to try this one. So I'll just post the full deck list in the comments or the description of this video, so that you can just copy paste and do some trials on your own, and maybe we can still be able to improve this build, which we would still be open for your suggestions. Again, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the Gruul Turtle Draconic combo standard deck for Wilds of Eldraine. Do like and subscribe, notifications on for more of these kinds of video, and thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.